Will the Bad Batch save their brother clones? I'm Nate, and today let's look at Bad Batch Season 2, Episodes 7 and 8, The Clone Conspiracy, and Truth and Consequences. In these episodes, a conspiracy is uncovered on Coruscant to eliminate any clone who tells the truth about the destruction of Kamino as Admiral Rampart tries to push through his defense recruiting bill in the Senate. Written by screenwriter Ezra Nachman and returning screenwriter Damani Johnson, Episodes 7 and 8 were released on February 8th, 2023 on Disney+. One of the things that I like about The Bad Batch is its realistic portrayal of the inner turmoil of soldiers, in particular what soldiers go through during and after war. The Clone Wars series was great and introduced us to many individual clones, but this series has taken it a step further. I find it fascinating that the writing team is often spot on with how soldiers react to life after war. In Episode 7, we start on Coruscant, where some of the clones are hanging out at a bar. Two of them discuss the circumstances of what happened on Kamino with the destruction of Tipoca City and the obvious corruption of Admiral Rampart. One of the clones, Cade, even took it upon himself to write Admiral Rampart directly to confront him on the issue. Another clone, Slip, argues otherwise. They were following orders, but Cade doesn't believe that is a good excuse. Why is Rampart covering up the destruction? After Cade gets assassinated, Slip knows he must tell the truth and run, or he'll die like his buddy Cade. The idea of lower-ranking soldiers finding issue with what is obviously selfish ambition and ulterior motives in senior officers is something that is not uncommon in the military. Rank-and-file soldiers and sailors find pride in the work they do and develop a sense of meaning from it. But at the higher ranks, ambition, narcissism, and the misuse of power consume people. Despite the obvious abuse at the hand of these officers, civilians have grown to see the uniform as a representation of honor and trust. Whereas the common soldier doesn't buy the lies they are being told, civilians just see the uniform and the integrity it represents. Rampart's goal all along has been to off-ramp the clone troopers and form a new army recruited from the citizenry of the galaxy, but his intentions here aren't as noble as he tries to make it seem. The clones are skilled warriors because they come from the DNA of Jango Fett, but they are also very patriotic and borderline altruistic. They've been designed to be loyal to the Galactic Republic and have a thought process in which they think for themselves, though they always have a mind for justice. This is a problem for Rampart and the New Empire. Palpatine and his minions need a military that can be manipulated. Order 66 was only doable because of the inhibitor chips. The inhibitor chips were a one-trick pony though. With the order complete, Rampart's ability to manipulate the troopers is limited. They're starting to see through his lies, but normal citizens can be manipulated, and that's why I think Rampart is so dead set on eliminating the clones. By the end of Episode 8, when Rampart's corruption is finally revealed, he is arrested by Palpatine for his so-called corruption. However, the Emperor uses the situation to his advantage and convinces the Senate to approve the defense recruiting bill anyway. In the end, we see that there are two sins when dealing with corruption. The first is standing up to corruption head-on. Troopers Cade and Slip are assassinated for their stance against Rampart's lies. The second sin is getting caught being corrupt. When Trooper Cade is assassinated, we naturally assume that it was Crosshair, but later we find out that it was another sniper we haven't seen before. This sniper's armor is all black like Crosshair's, and his armor has similarities to clone armor, but it's different as well. When Rex shows up and captures the sniper, he unmasks him and discovers that he's a clone, but not a trooper. Rex doesn't find any identifying marks on him, and when the Bad Batch shows up, Tech discovers that the clone's identification number has been wiped, which seems odd at first. Rex tries to interrogate the sniper, but he refuses to cooperate. The sniper goes on the offensive though and tells Rex he's on the wrong side. When Rex asks what that makes him, the sniper replies, "A believer." This reply is cryptic. What is he a believer in? The statement is confusing unless we consider one thing, that he wasn't cloned on Kamino in Tipoca City. No, I think this clone was engineered by Nayla Se to Rampart's desire. Remember that Nayla Se was taken to an unknown Imperial base at the end of Season 1. The clone has no identification number, not because it was wiped, but because he never had one to begin with. With Crosshair showing signs of wavering reliability, Rampart needed a replacement, but the TK troopers aren't as skilled, so he had a clone engineered specifically for him, who is loyal to Rampart and his cause. And the thing this clone is a believer in is the Imperial cause and his place as a cog in its system. In Episode 8, the guys in Omega show up. With the mystery seemingly solved, we go into the second act where the guys race against time to find the hidden information needed to prove Rampart is lying. We know the guys will find the information, but we also know that the Empire will get its way no matter what. When Palpatine shows up in the Senate, it's an epic moment. Though he takes down Rampart for his corruption, we know it's actually because Rampart couldn't seal the deal on the defense recruitment bill. The situation affords Palpatine the opportunity to garner favor from both his allies and his enemies for taking down a corrupt official. Though Rampart was a true believer in the Imperial cause, he was also too ambitious, which made him reckless and a liability for Palpatine and Tarkin. One of the overarching storylines in these two episodes is the matter of how to treat the Republic's war veterans. Senator Chuchi is noble in her effort to take care of the troopers for their service to the Republic, but it's not surprising to see those who abandoned their loyalty to the Republic to follow the Empire turn their backs on their former Republic colleagues. Many real-life soldiers feel the same way about their service that the clones do. When Senator Chuchi goes to meet with the clones to get their support in pushing for pension plans for them, the general feeling is that they want to continue being troopers. They want to continue to fight. Like I've said before though, it's not about the war, it's about the camaraderie. We see this at the end of the episode when Omega finds out that Echo is staying with Rex to help the effort to save the clones. In war and the military in general, guys come and go. Soldiers build friendships and lose friends. The bonds of brotherhood grow tight, but soldiers learn to deal with their friends transferring or getting out. Losing a teammate in battle is different though. We can see that the guys still love Crosshair, and they know that there is still a chance for him to return. As long as he is still alive, they will meet again. But Omega hasn't experienced this yet. She's gotten to know the guys in the squad and has grown attached. Unlike the guys though, her femininity causes her to show her emotion, and it's a touching moment to see her hug Echo. He's not used to this kind of emotion in a goodbye, but he adapts well and returns the gesture, because good soldiers also express their appreciation and fondness for their fellow soldiers. Despite this, there are also plenty of soldiers who don't care for the camaraderie, but rather find enjoyment in the processes and politics. Every organization needs policymakers, but sometimes these soldiers despise their fellow soldiers. They would love to serve in an organization that aligns with their personal values, as well as with other soldiers who are true believers as they are. Overall, I thought these episodes were well crafted and written. They are filled with the complex dynamics of politics, corruption, and their effects. Even though the guys in Omega don't save any clones directly, they come to understand what they are up against in the fight for their brothers. Thanks for watching, and if you like the content and the deeper discussion into the themes found in Star Wars, please hit the like button and subscribe to keep me in your feed.